Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Conquering History Games, and welcome back to the Graduation Campaign, Russia Edition. So I know I didn't end up streaming over the weekend because my weekend got pretty full, especially my Saturday, but yeah, it was Super Bowl Sunday, which is a holiday in the United States. So yeah, my time got pretty occupied with other stuff. So I thought, okay, let me do a stream on Monday morning to make up for that. Although I know there's not really going to be too many people probably popping in because, it's work hours. But, the video of the day will always be here. And I think we're pretty set on what's going on here. I'm probably only going to stream for like an hour. And then I'm going to still stream tonight. The only question is if I'm going to stream... Like what time? There's like a 2-hour window I need to figure out. It's gonna probably, like, I might not stream until, shoot, it might be like 11:30 Eastern Standard Time now that I'm thinking about it. So yeah, my schedule has gotten so strange. I'm just kind of vamping for a while, just anyway to see if anyone pops in. But like, schedule sure has gotten strange. Like, actually, shoot, did I put it in my community tab? Because I'm going to definitely still be able to stream Monday to Thursday, but the Tuesday is just going to have to be moved to the morning, which is very unfortunate, unless I also made that really late at night. So, now that I'm like kind of saying this all out loud, I think I might have just convinced myself that I should... wait. Yeah... You know what? I'm going to deliberately try to get a stream going at like 9:30 tonight, 9:30 Mountain Time, so 11:30 Eastern Standard. Because I think even that late at night, it's still going to pick up more viewers than a workday time streaming. I'll just have to double... Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Yeah, perpetually fighting off a cold, it seems, this winter. Alright, that's enough vamping. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, oh yeah, the Savinkov death thing was happening anyway. So yeah, this is definitely just a transition episode, so people can go back and check the VOD on it. I don't think there's really going to be much people got to vote for here. Now, the beginning of the November Revolution, the grip of Savinkov's security apparatus has been rapidly weakening. Petrograd has been the focal point of the protests, but people have taken to the streets across most cities, demanding an end to new serfdom in the artels and putting an end to the arbitrary violence committed by the SCRS. Hold on a sec. I gotta change this music. It's just, I've said it so much, but it's just got to be done with it. I've too many hundreds of hours. Whoa, too loud. Okay, better. Oh, God, muscle soreness. Sorry. So there have been thousands of arrests or executions, but the police and military seem to be increasingly passive or even disloyal, either having been swayed by revolutionary propaganda or simply having little love for Savinkov's regime. By the end of the week, a massive number of people have gathered in Red Square, demanding Savinkov address them directly. Against the wishes of his security staff, seemingly full of belief in his own persona, the president decided to speak to his people, hoping to appeal to the masses like in his heyday. Savinkov's presence calmed the square briefly as loudspeakers blasted his calm words to the masses, but it did not last. A bundle of grenades was thrown from the crowd, and all hell broke loose. People from the crowd started shooting, and Savinkov's personal guard responded. Bodies littered the square as bystanders bit the lead. After minutes of chaos, over 30 lay dead, including Savinkov himself, who had caught shrapnel to his face and died of catastrophic bleeding. After the head of the snake was cut, the regime began to quickly collapse. Communications hubs and railway stations of Moscow were taken over by soldiers with red armbands, and they were soon broadcasting the news to all of Russia. Savinkov was dead, shot by socialist revolutionaries who had formed a provisional government to return power to the people from the tyrants. Long live free Russia! So we're going to lose Boris and his, quirky face, whatever. And so that's going to take away 10% stability. So we're going to be at under 50% stability, you know, classic Russia things. It's also going to lose us war support, and the PLRS is going to take over. So that is the Radical Socialist Party, and we'll get Boris Kamov in charge now. And Maria Spindranova is in charge with. I've never seen this this portrait of hers. This is new to me. And we also have Boris down here. Let's start with Boris and we'll work our way up. So Boris Savinkov, aka Boris Davidovich Kemkov, also known as Boris Katz, is the father of the left socialist revolutionaries. He has fame as a ruthless but idealistic and meticulous politician, both a schemer and theorist who put his party before anything else. The doctor's son from Moldova, young Boris got involved with Ukrainian SRs from a young age and spent time both in Siberian penal labor and exile in France. Kemkov's rise to fame happened in the Petrograd Soviet, where he became one of the brightest and most charismatic socialist revolutionaries. But the other Kemkovites quickly went against Kerensky's government. Hey there, Miche. Boris, together with Maria Spinanova and Mark Natanson, led a split from the SR party, taking the true revolutionaries to form their own party. Initially, Kemkov was cooperative with the Bolsheviks, but eventually turned against them as it was clear the Bolsheviks would not uphold Soviet democracy. Quote, "We as men of at times of enormous political significance can the least of all engage in moral characterization," end quote. He described his stance of revolution above all else. The tragedy of left SRs is known to all: their break with the Bolsheviks and their failed attempt to spark people's revolution against Lenin. Kemkov went underground like many other SRs and survived the Civil War. Since then, he became a pragmatic supporter of left SR cooperation with Chernov's SR, though he was never a true believer in this cooperation, unlike his colleague Karelin. Kemkov's pessimistic attitude towards the bourgeois republic was validated by the ascension of Savinkov and terrible repression, under which Kemkov served as leader of the party in exile until the victorious return of the SRs to Russia. And he's replaceable. No, actually, he's not. He can't be dismissed. But so essentially, I mean, like it says, he was okay to cooperate, just like Chernov did, but he's just like kind of doing it from. It's ironic because he's idealistic, but it definitely seems to come from an attitude of like, I'll work with these people, but the revolution's happening because the current republic's not working, so we need a different republic. But if people who are in the republic right now want to help me get some change, I could use them and ditch them later. So yeah, it's funny how like in the first paragraph, it talks about his fame of idealism, but then by the end, it's explaining there's ultimately a pessimism within him. Classic Russian people, right? Okay, and now let's see who's our new leader. Maria Spiridnova, who's probably a little more famous. I think people who, if you're watching a stream like this, you probably know who she is already, but excuse me. She's giving us Matushka ability, which is increasing how much recruitable population we have. We're getting some compliance game, which is going to help us in the Caucasus. And we have increased defense against major countries. I think that's an interesting specific stat to have, especially because who major countries are can change over the course of the game. So, you know, like a united, I've said this 100 times, a united India is the key to Entente victory. You know, the Dominion getting in there, because then they're going to be the ones who certainly have the recruitable population, but also once unification actually gets going, India can become quite an industrial powerhouse in its own right, at least for its own purposes. I'm not saying you're going to be able to be like Germany and have, you know, like limitless divisions of heavy tanks. But anyway, do we also have some new? We might have some new. Oh no! Wait a second. The VES, which we had started. Let me check. Yep. Because okay, basically we were doing a planned economy, but it was a different planned economy than the one we have. So we are now taking stability and factory output losses because we started it and didn't like really finish it. No elections. Look, elections are something. Elections. We've got the doggone People's Revolution is happening, and you're worried about elections. We're going to be marching into. We need to be marching into Berlin in about 5 years, probably more, honestly. It's going to take more than 5 years to get there, but we need to be talking about getting into Berlin and saving all these people under the horrid regime of Social Democrats and the Kaiser. Yeah, social democratic, so social, so democratic that there's still a Kaiser. And you're talking to me about elections? What elections are happening for real in Germany? We need to save those people. This other People's Republic, allegedly. Social Democrats, oh my goodness. Social Democratic, so social, so democratic that they're working with national populists to their north. Yeah, oh look, authoritarian democratic Sweden, social democratic. So social, so democratic that they're working with the Kaiser. Alright. And yeah, there's still that demilitarized zone. Oh yeah, so we haven't actually read her thing. Excuse me. I know the thing. By the way, I finally got a humidifier. Never thought I'd see the day. But the winters here can just be so dry. It's different from the dry heat of summer. Like let me put it this way. I use a lot more chapstick in the winter than I do in the summer. You're living in the desert. So background, beloved of terror, the saint of the revolution, the Matushka. Spiridnova rose into legendary fame as the Russian Maid of Orleans during her trial and imprisonment in 1906, and the fame only grew in subsequent years as she was venerated almost as a saint in many of the poorest rural regions of Russia. Maria Alexandrovna Spiridnova was born in 1884 in Tambov to an impoverished noble family. She was left without higher education and became involved in political life at 19 years old, joining the Socialist Revolutionaries and being arrested for the first time in the wake of the 1905 revolution. The following year, Spiridnova was assigned to assassinate Gavril Luzonovsky, a despised landowner and black hundredess. After the murder, she was violently apprehended, beaten, and likely raped by her Cossack guard. Her mistreatment made her a martyr for the revolutionary cause, though she was sent to Siberia. Granted amnesty after the February Revolution, she returned to political life and quickly rose to leadership in the PSR. Spiridnova led the left SR movement, initially supporting the Bolshevik Revolution, but later breaking with them over their harsh policies towards peasants and authoritarianism. The Bolsheviks sent her to a mental asylum, but white forces freed her when they captured Moscow. Despite being pardoned in a general amnesty, she was marginalized in politics and focused on grassroots initiatives for rural Russia. An early opponent of Savinkov, she returned to party politics in 1933 to unite her party's left wing in cooperation with the right. Spiridnova believes that Russian peasant communes are the ideal basis of socialism, a vision closer to anarchism than Marxism. She has remained idealistic, even if used to disappointment by now, and is highly respected by the left SRs as a leader who never compromises on the ideals of the party. So that's who she is. Are we working with the Frenchies? I do not necessarily think so, because I think we are technically on a path right now to where we're about to get counter-couped. So basically there was the killing of Savinkov, and now the revolutionaries on the left have taken the chance to seize power, but then the military is going to step in and essentially restabilize us towards the center. At least I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen here. So some of these things like improved design companies we have, so I want to be a little careful about which of these I want to do. In the meantime, we can monitor. Right, we're going to come down here to the Euro program. Or wait. Where's the Tankgrad thing, or was that a decision? Tankgrad, right. So I have to have completed Chelyabinsk factory in the Euro program. So yeah, we're still on track here. I mean, it's kind of, in terms of national focus, it kind of could be argued maybe we shouldn't have done the economic planning before. So we'll see. Peak. Anarchist France. It is actually Anarchist France. So I suppose in theory we should be rapidly running to join the Third Internationale, but I genuinely don't think there is even a decision that provides for that. Let's see. Like, where's my foreign policy tree? Easter. Yeah, so I have to correct the course of history, which is kind of funny because, like, isn't that an implication? Union of Socialists. Yeah, it's like, so we did create the Soviet Union first. Because, like, you know, so that's what happened in our timeline. Triumph of the idea. You know, here's how you check. Correct. Here we go. Correct the course of history. I've been having this Pavlovian response to the term correct and correction because I've been watching a lot of Gundam, and, like, obviously huge for anybody who's heard anything about Gundam, a big theme of it is like childhood trauma, and it being, and you know, like physical abuse from adult and mentor figures and stuff, and how it manifests in children and the consequences of it. And so a slang term, I don't know what the original term is in Japanese, but like they call it correction when, like, you know, like Commander Bright, who's the main commander in UC, he'll, like, you know, be smacking around some teenage kid who's like, why aren't you good enough to pilot the damn Gundam and win this war all by yourself yet? And it's like, and so it's like, I gotta correct your actions. And so he'll, you know, smack him around. And it's often in the subtitles used that way, like in the quotation marks. So it's like, correct the course of history just makes me think like we're somehow grabbing the manifestation of like a timeline and just going, no, Savinkov, it was the Soviet Union is the correct timeline. It's like, what do you mean the correct timeline? So it's like, what Earth are we on? Okay, so to correct the course of history, this will create a series of events that determines the Congress. So essentially, we need to have our constitutional convention. But it says here, red flag over the Kremlin or revolution by ballot. Whoops, took that away. So I'm guessing we're gonna probably get a series of events right now that'll determine what we could take next. Actually, let me make a thing here. Okay, second no revolution. Well, actually, technically, it wouldn't be the second because I mean it has to do with the old calendar thing. Anyway, October revolution. Timestamp. November 22nd. All right. So yeah, we're probably gonna get events that let us come down here or determine if we're ever going to really be able to stabilize. I think the next like week or two in game, like 20 days, is gonna get crazy, or 10 days, I should say, right? So let's just get something else done in the meantime. Let's keep working our way towards that Ural program. Yeah, all that. We did that long, circuitous walk of our reasonings for doing things, just to ultimately say, so anyway, we're going to keep taking the focuses we were already taking. So yeah, this will give us some construction buffs, which is always great. And so because of that, I want to grab this one now, and that way we could use the buffs later down here for 3 and 4. That actually might not be ideal now that I think about it. It's kind of one of those things like, you know, it's like the difference between when you start doing your savings in an earlier amount of time, you can get away with different percentages. So it's like, is it better to get an extra 10% now and then we'll get a plus 20% buffs later, faster, or should we wait and not get that 10% now, but then we can... Actually, no, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out, because this is going to take 35 days. 100% research bonus. No, it's not. No. Let's just get this now. This is, yeah. It'll be better later to get to use those. Okay, wow, the Totalists, the opposite of Anarchy, the Totalists just took charge down here. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't see the commune win terribly often anyway, but I feel like Bossel, he's gonna. In my experience, he tends to make the Dominion and Princely Federation both attack him at the same time while they're not at war with each other. So it's not a true three-way war. So he might be in some trouble. Okay. So after the immediate smoke had dispersed, the situation had become clearer. Forces loyal to the socialist revolutionaries held the capital and also managed to take power in Petrograd, Yekaterinburg, and a number of other major cities. The government headed by Boris Kamkov was convened, which included delegates elected by workers' unions and peasant councils of the Moscow region, though in practice only anti-Savinkovists were even allowed to run. The new government quickly made a number of important appointments. General Yuri Sablin was to serve as war minister, while Yakov Belyumkin's combat organization was officially merged with the police, and he was appointed to lead it. Maria Spiridnova, a respected revolutionary, who we already went over, was elected as the first president. Proper national elections were promised to be arranged as soon as the remnants of Savinkovist loyalists had been destroyed to ensure freedom of the people. Prepare for the reactionary backlash. Southern India is united. They're doing the Prince of Federation. They're going authoritarian Democrat. I don't think I've ever, without human interference, seen the Princely Federation win. If you just leave this all to the AI, the Princely Federation will lose every time, pretty much. Okay. The Manstein affair, mere days after the... Hold on a second, I need to blow my nose. I'm gonna mute for a minute. All right, I'm back. So, something, glasses. Need to get something to drink too. So the Manstein affair. They hoped Manstein and Anton Turkel, who still commanded swaying garrisons near Moscow, launched a counter coup. They hoped large parts would defect to the whites, but this didn't happen. It seems that very few people had an interest in dying for the late Zod's dream. The Pushkits they surrendered. Manstein was court-martialed and shot on the field. Are you supposed to say in the field? Demote suspected Savinkovists from positions, replaced them with convinced Democrats, avoided backlash. Many old white war heroes were given military pensions and persuaded to retire in good order. And in all fairness, they do not seem very excited about serving under socialists either. That's kind of funny. With these changes, much of the security apparatus is cleansed from anti-socialist forces. The old establishment weathers away. Gets a vent through struggle, you will rise. Ooh. It's like a fancy way of saying suffer and become. So we're losing more stability. Socialist revolution in Russia, president's actions angered the populace and the military, etc. What does this mean for us? So does that mean that was the attempted military coup and it didn't work? I genuinely don't know. I'm not going to feel like we're locked in until we get this stuff. It's only been 4 days. Dispersed industry too, yeah. Industry. Yeah, some clique-on-clique violence going on down here. The Mingan Insurgency. I don't remember it ever being called that before. The Samarkand socialists have cried out for help. Interesting. These revolutionaries have aligned themselves with the bourgeois and reactionary leaders. Question is how much. Yeah, so of course, as it says here, such shortcomings to be overlooked. We should certainly send them home with some aid in their quest for liberation against our shared enemy in the region. The question is simply how much. So we're going to lose political power either way. We might as well send some guns. Why not? Besieged Kronstadt. Oh, man. There's the struggle you arise. Well, what's this? Kolchak appeared to the people of Petrograd. He's remained on his battleship. The city's in control of the people. So this is some stuff that's going on over here. Man, I really need to sit down and watch Battleship Potemkin. I've been watching a lot of like Russian film lately, and I saw this really funny one, and I think it was directed by the guy who created that. What do you call it? Not the Kornilov effect, or is it the Kornilov effect? The Soviet montage thing. And the movie was called the exciting adventures of Mr. West in Russia or something. It was from the 1920s, and it was a it was an old one of them old movies. It was very physical. It was very funny. And yeah, it just got me thinking about like I should watch Potemkin. I think Potemkin is not even copyrighted anymore. Hold on, I'm gonna check real quick online. Now I've seen some of Battleship Potemkin, but I mean it's the part that everybody sees with the stairs. Oh yeah, there it is. It's on Mosfilm. Drama, full movie, hour and 11 minutes. Yeah, probably won't watch that today, but I should get around to that this week. Do I like ships? I mean, in fan fiction, but I mean, it's just supposed to be one of those movies that was like really essential for the development of cinema. But it's like it's a historical film because the Battleship Potemkin is about when the crew of the ship mutinied. And so it's in 1905. So you got to remember, like 1905, 06. That's the period of like. It's one of those things where the 1917 revolutions make a whole lot more sense when you understand what was going on then, because that's like right around the Russo-Japanese War, which Russia gets its ass handed to it. And there's like kind of like the revolution before the revolution. Yeah, it's like Sablin, exactly, but it's earlier because this happened in 1905. Excuse me. Yeah, there's something about. I mean, I'm an Army guy, not a Navy guy, but it's kind of almost seems like a recurring. It is not almost. It is a recurring motif. The kind of interesting brand of independence that the Russian Navy has from the Russian government that there's like this recursion of mutinying against the government, where it's like in a manner that in its way the sailors are more radical than some of the revolutionaries. So it's fascinating. So anyway, Battleship Potemkin was a rebellion that happened in 1905, and so yeah, a lot of stuff was going on there, and it's essentially the stresses of World War I trigger the follow-up revolution that becomes the two of them really, because there's the March one and then there's the October one. Anyway, yeah, I should check that out this week. Probably after, you know what? I'm doing a 1 week free trial of that Classique, Classical, however it's pronounced, film, which is like or streaming service, which it's essentially seems like it's the Criterion collection, but for stuff that was east of the Iron Curtain. So it's like Hungarian films, Romanian films, Russian films, etc. So I only got that free trial for a week, so I wanna catch some stuff there. All right, yeah, enough about cinema. Cinema today. So through struggle you will rise. In 1918, Maria declared to Lenin, "Our movement cannot be destroyed by you or any other temporary reaction, for it lives in the hearts of our people. It is hidden in the deep recesses of their minds. The revolutionary rebirth will surely occur under the banner of this ideal, the ideal of the liberation of the human personality." It seems as if this moment. Oh no, yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Losing to Japan sure didn't help, and so that's the whole thing. It's like it's coming out of these moments of defeat or moments of struggle, right? That Russia kind of evolves politically because I mean the Decembrist movement, which was like, I mean at the end of the day, it's like, did you really seriously think the Tsar wasn't going to shoot your ass? But the Decembrist revolution, which I kind of want to put that in quotation marks, is born out of the Napoleonic Wars, and I mean that's a big part of the Napoleonic War. Is one of the things I think is fascinating about it is you have the French Revolution happen, and then it ends up spinning out this like world historical figure in Napoleon who has as many admirers, but all those admirers, not all of them, but like, you know, but those people who did admire him are going to turn on him, and then they're going to use his own methods to defeat him. So that's what happens in Spain. It's what happens in Prussia. It happens in Italy. Like Napoleon becomes the reason for the rally around the flag, but they're also using his military and political methods against him to eventually win. And so that's why you end up in 1813, the Battle of Leipzig, which I once heard described as the Battle of Leipzig is the answer to the mathematical equation of conscription plus nationalism. And you got dress rehearsal for World War One, right? And so the Decembrists, I think, spins out of that. A lot of 1905 spins out of the Russo-Japanese War. Which admittedly I don't know a ton about the Russo-Japanese War other than honestly I get the American perspective. Like I first learned about it in the context of Teddy Roosevelt as a peace negotiator, right? And then of course the shame and scorn which we should be heaping on the Russian Navy for its piss poor performance, just downright fucking embarrassing actually. So anyway, through struggle you will rise. And it seems as if this moment has finally arrived as the socialist revolutionary entered the Senate Palace in the Kremlin fortress with her comrades. The moment felt unreal. After 40 years of struggle, just as the socialist revolutionary motto promised, they were finally in the highest position of Russia without... Are you serious? Sorry, if someone's trying to get a hold of me right now, it might... That was somebody... Sorry, it was somebody sending a message. Sorry, I've been distracted by this picture. Sorry. It seems as if this moment has finally arrived as the socialist revolutionary entered the... It's probably supposed to be socialist revolutionaries. Entered the Senate Palace, the Kremlin fortress with her comrades. The moment felt unreal. After 40 years of struggle, just as the socialist revolutionary motto promised, they were finally in the highest position of Russia, without Lenin or bourgeois presidents to keep them down. From this fortress, thousands of socialists have been put to death, tortured, and imprisoned. Every one of the old SRs present now has experienced that. Is this finally the end of it and the dawn of a freer Russia? The office is messy, and its valuables have been looted by some SCRS bureaucrat who is probably halfway to Minsk by now. Sporadic gunshots ring in the streets of Moscow, but they do not seem to bother Comrade Maria Alexandrovna too much anymore. Ironically, the years spent hiding from the Vzods Okhrana had almost reinvigorated the SRs and made them remember their roots, their struggle. They lost to Lenin once, and Savinkov almost finished them off. They cannot afford to fall for the third time. Too much blood has been spilt by the Russian people to achieve their freedom to stop now. A brighter future dawns. So we got red flag over the Kremlin. Okay, so I guess we did do this. Wait, white army, red generals. Only if we have that national spirit specifically. Well, okay then. Maybe we are gonna be socialists. Wait, mass resignations of the white generals. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's build a new and better army. That's going to hurt war support. Now we have that national spirit. So army experience gain has been halved. Division organization is down 20%. Our command power gain, minus half a point a day. 40% increase on land doctrine costs. And basically a bunch of people have just left. So we got no generalship anymore. But the good news is, speaking of Sablin, okay. So we have here a politically connected armor officer. I don't know if I don't remember now. I kind of don't want to assign anybody just yet because we might get Tukachevsky and them back from Patagonia. So we'll see. Abortive Kazakh revolt. We laid our plans for this. We moved out when we did. If only we caught them before we escaped. Basically, this guy is screwing with us, so it's alright. We're gonna have something for his ass. Okay, we have the formation of the All-Russian Union of Labor under Levetsky. The Syndicalist Party, basically there's internal changes going on here. I'm not actually reading this because I'm not quite sure we're locked in. I really am not. Until we get a constitution going. It hasn't even been a month, y'all. If the Constitution ain't up and running, reunification of the socialist revolutionaries. We have a volatile past. There's been many splits. The most recent after the death of Viktor Chernov. So Vinkov all but decimated the right wing, turning many good men into traitors to the nation. The left was forced into hiding, returning back to their terrorist roots. And now, are we cooked? We might be. We might be. Now the SR party finds itself... Oh, dang it. Now the stream is struggling. The bit rate is effed up. Alright, now the SR party finds itself in a prime position to gather the majority of the peasantry under a single banner, with the overall leftward shift in Russian politics. The situation has been reversed in 1920. In the 1920s, the left SRs operated from inside the more politically acceptable right-wing leadership. Now the right SRs are operating from inside the more politically acceptable left-wing leadership, and arguably many have genuinely embraced a more socialist approach after the failings of the liberal government. Peasants are strong together. So less social liberals, less nat pops. We're kind of got like a coalition government thing going here. Rad socialists are 22%. Yeah, but like we've got another 12 on top of that, which is still not a majority. Head of the White Snake. There is an air of a civil war in Russia. An air of it. You're just going, do you smell that? Civil war. Maybe you can make a coalition fail. Like, I really don't know. I really don't know. Okay. Okay. The largest military conspiracy around Mika. Okay, wait, no. In an era of civil war in Russia, as the new socialist government is giving its first decrees from Moscow, most of the country is in confusion, but it is not the aimless chaos of 1917, when Russia was an anarchy and only swords ruled. Most of the civil service seems to view Boris Karloff's government legitimate enough not to actively resist it. An armed resistance has been only sporadic and regional. Assurances by provincial president Maria Spiridonova have calmed some nerves, and many are even cautiously hopeful that in the new generation seems more like the provisional one in 1917 than the Bolshevik one. The largest military conspiracy around Mikhail is unable to remain secret, and the general was soon arrested, even though the officer corps and many garrisons preferred resistance. The overwhelming majority of the common soldiers and NCOs have not been willing to raise arms against the new revolutionary government, and instead, in many places, have placed their former superiors under arrest. General Alexander Vasilievsky and 27 other young generals recognized the new government in a widely circulated letter, calling for restraint from the military and demanding that free elections be organized. The former chief of army and a number of other high-ranking officers were arrested in connection with crimes committed by the Savinkov regime. Some managed to flee, while a few are dead after resisting arrest. In some cases, small battles were fought. Our security services have managed to capture Denikin, Wrangel, Drodowski, and Kutupov with Markov on the run. The strongest resistance has been organized not by the old generals, but by younger ones, particularly former Subodnik-associated figures. But there has not been widespread defection or nationwide resistance, and the small white holdouts have been cleared relatively efficiently. We will take no chances with the whites. So it seems like we're putting down any potential rebellion. Rise of the workers' parties. Basically, it's just things are growing. More people on the left. Maria here seems to, be locking down. Oh, what? The South African People's Union just joined the Third Internationale. I don't think I've ever seen this. What? And I just kind of dismissed the event. I'm sorry. Wow. Racial segregation. I mean, they're going to probably start fixing all this stuff, but... Wow. I mean, it's not like South Africa ever determined the outcome of the war, but I'm just saying they can hit Portugal's Africa colonies here. That could make this okay. This though, yeah. What this means is this place, this area, is going to become a fucking shitstorm. Excuse my language. But it's like, this is a classic example of how I've said that the Kaiserreich universe has a higher ceiling for how bad World War II gets, meaning like its casualty count. And one of the ways is like when other theaters of war get opened up, now you're going to have like, unless one side or the other does a quick grab, this could become a literally years-long issue down here. Plus, they're going to... Oh my gosh, I'm focusing on Portugal, but also now the Third Internationale has a way directly into Middle Africa. Wow. This is... There significant consequences, is what I'm saying. And it's now been a month since the revolution. Christmas, Return of the Exiles. Yep, there's Tukhachevsky, a bunch of people. Tukhachevsky, and he becomes chief of the army. Blucher, Shapanivskov, Metakov, Timoshkev, Fruns, Stalin. We're not being cute with his name anymore. Yegorov, Priantilov. Or maybe he becomes Stalin when he comes back. That's how they play it. Don't know, I really don't. Cossacks will be removed. I think Black Monday. Socialization of industries. Take worker control. Yeah, we got to get the economy up and running. But I also think that Death of the Patriarch Anthony's funeral service. Pray for the people's help. Yeah, as we hit it, we're now in 1937. Oh. Dosnai, Rushland, everywhere will be a Zion. For the Jews of revolutionary logic, all their ideologies, this war will be of utmost importance. The coming war will decide their fate. Will they be the new Moses prophets leading their people into the promised future, or the new Bar Kopanos zealots leading them to doom? I think now that we're in 1937, I don't think the military coup is coming, and so I kind of feel like this needs to get put to a poll, and people aren't watching right now because it's work day, so we'll have to wait for tonight. Damn. Plan out my afternoon now. Okay. What I think I'm going to do then is we're going to stop the stream now, and I'm going to stream again in a little under 12 hours. And then what I'll do is have a poll to decide, do we keep going Russian Socialist Republic, or do we backtrack to an earlier fave to see if we're gonna get some, take some different options to do that. Because I mean, obviously we're gonna recover, but like, man, this White Army, Red Generals, that freaking hurts. Like, is there any way to get rid of that ever? I really don't know. You need complete Slav militarism. Russian People's Army. Here we go. Withering of the White Army. That's how we'll start to get better. So, I mean, we could get it to go away before it starts. Yuri Sablin. Sablin is down here. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. The plan will be 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, which I typically don't stream that late. We'll see how that goes. But thank you very much for joining me, those of you who did. And you'll have yourselves a great rest of your day.